the day, so thank you, Eustace. My name is Nikki Caboose. I'm the VP of Development for Palm Beach Tech. We are a tech nonprofit. We started just almost exactly 5 years ago. We're actually having our 5th year anniversary celebration, virtual of course now, on July 29th, which we will be dropping a lot of things that I mentioned, links in Zoom for anybody that's in here so that you guys have that. And then anybody that's watching on social, we will there as well. And right now, basically, we have our virtual career expo going on. And it's from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. So it does stay open later this evening, especially for anybody that is not available in the second to go there. If anybody doesn't have that link to the Eventbrite page to register or to log in, please let me know. I'll drop my email in chat so I can help you guys get on there as well. So with us being a tech nonprofit, we actually started, like I said, 5 years ago as a countywide organization. We just recently announced a little over a month ago that we are going to be expanding to become a regional South Florida organization. So now our members, instead of being just in Palm Beach County, are from Miami to Martin County. So we work with a lot of the local headquartered companies that are looking for talent, you know, the talent themselves on workshops like this for career, or like even introductory, like technical courses, like introductory to coding. We offer different panel discussions, tech talks. There's definitely a lot of ways to connect, you know, with our local community. Our whole goal and mission is to build South Florida into a tech hub. So we definitely want to touch all the different pieces of our community and bring everybody together. Also, you know, attracting other companies and other talent from outside of Florida. With that said, I do want to introduce Eustace. He's actually from CareerSource Palm Beach County, going to be doing a presentation today on how to leveraging LinkedIn. Eustace, if you'd like to introduce yourself, kind of give us a brief overview of CareerSource and what you do, and then let me know if I can help anyway with your presentation, but you're, you know, more than happy to just go right into it.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eustace Fagan. I'm a senior career consultant here at CareerSource, and beyond that, I'm a senior executive search professional with experience in retained, contingency, and contract staffing. I specialize in finding needle in the haystack professionals. I am an avid and strong closer. I believe in connecting the right talent with the right opportunity, one step at a time. Why this is important to you is because I have a little bit of information about the employment industry, and I've been at it for a long time. I've seen where it has come from. I have a really good handle on where it is now. And as we all know, we're all prospecting like miners to find out where it's going from here. So with that said, I would like to invite some of you on this panel right now to do the following. I would like to hear your first name and your last name. I would also like to hear your occupational title. And I would also like to hear 2 or 3 lines that would just kind of give us an idea of who you are professionally. And maybe about 4 or 5 of you, as prompted by Nikki, that might work well.
Sure, if anybody would like to volunteer themselves, in the bottom bar of your screen, there's going to be something called reactions. You can actually put your hand up, and then I'd be happy to call on you. Should be like a thumbs up and a hands up. It almost looks like a clap signal. Can I get any volunteers there?
I'm gonna volunteer Brian.
There you go, Brian.
Thanks, Eustace. I'm Brian Bullock. Job title, I have been in leadership in the insurance industry for over 3 decades, and recently have taken the opportunity to go back to school to get my green belt and black belt in Lean Six Sigma. And so I've worked with Eustace on several different things, and he's been very helpful, and I really appreciate him. He's a very bright guy, so this is going to be a great presentation.
Outstanding.
Very good. And I think I saw hands up by Andrea.
Yes, hi.
Hi,
I'm Andrea Tawil, and I'm recently back in school as well, studying database professional. And my background is in training and development, and I'm happy to be at this presentation. I've met Eustace before at CareerSource. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks you, Andrea. And I had a couple here that I saw hands up. Becky? Oh, I think you're still on mute, Becky. There you go.
I would like to volunteer as well.
Yes, go ahead. You've got the platform.
Okay. I've been doing this for a long time and maybe too many hours today, but Nikki, I'm sure you've got me beat.
Maybe.
I'm very familiar with CareerSource Broward, but Central Broward, not Palm Beach. And I think it's exciting that you're talking about expanding throughout all of South Florida. I think that's wonderful.
Excellent. Becky, would you tell us what your occupational title is?
Unemployed, how's that?
Oh, beyond unemployed. We're looking for.
Oh, okay. Let's see, what does this resume say on it? Technical program manager, senior project manager.
And if you could tell us one strength about you, what would that be?
I always try and be funny, and it doesn't always work.
Life's a beach. Thanks.
Yes.
And I think we had two more volunteers. Charles Powers. Charles, I don't know if we can't hear you because I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, there we go. I'm having all kinds of problems today. So my my last title is IT systems analyst. Basically what it was I would take an Active Directory that mom and pop set up and make it more conducive to an enterprise level. So I clean up the Active Directory, fix things that work better and everything else. Right now I am unemployed, as Becky is. And I'm just trying to learn how to better market myself and what I need to do to reskill, because my skill set is pretty much obsolete at this point, I think. So that's basically it. Thanks.
Thank you, Charles. One more.
Yep, and I think the last hand I saw was Laura Hoffman.
Hi. So I have been marketing for a long time for different types of companies. And basically, I would like to just keep my skills as new and fresh as possible. Like to learn some innovative ways how I can present myself on LinkedIn to promote companies. Not working right now, but it would be great once I get something that I could learn how to do this a little bit better. And I would say my biggest strength is people. I love being around people. I like joining people. I like having a pipeline of friends and people and colleagues, people that I can introduce one to one another and help them in any way to grow and maybe even get a job.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, I guess at this point, I'm going to take the comm. Bear with me as I may fumble around a little bit with fat fingers. So welcome to LinkedIn. Let me ask you all a question. How many people by a show of hands or thumbs up already have a LinkedIn account? So for those of you who do have a LinkedIn account, you know that it is not one of those tools that if you build it, they will come. Just because you have an account, people aren't rushing down, knocking at your door, trying to give you a job right away. Is that correct? So when you think about LinkedIn, I want you to understand that everything that you do on social media stays in social media, cyberspace. But one of the things I'd like you to consider is that when you present yourself with your brand first. I'm going to talk about what a brand is. But first of all, what we have just gone through as a practice with LinkedIn is we have introduced ourselves to the small network of people that is on this webinar right now. That's what going on LinkedIn is all about. It is you introducing yourself to the larger global marketplace. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use LinkedIn. It is not one of those this is not going to be one of those courses where we tell you how to set up your LinkedIn. I'm sure everybody can kind of get that through the regular mediums on YouTube, etc. What I'd like to talk to you about is a little bit about who LinkedIn is and why use it. Did you know that Microsoft acquired LinkedIn for $26.2 billion in 2016? That is their largest acquisition to date. There is a lot of time, energy, and money going into LinkedIn on a regular basis. They're constantly upgrading the algorithms in which they utilize to help us obtain employment for job seekers to find employment. One of the things that I'd like to talk to you about right now is why would you use LinkedIn? You're going to use LinkedIn because you want to set up what is called a two-pronged strategy for job searches. The first is going to be your resume. Everything starts with your resume. Your resume should follow a certain format. That should have your name, your information. It should have what's called a branding statement, not an objective, not a summary, not a reason why you're unemployed, but it should speak to who you are. Your branding statement is going to push forth your brand. What is your brand? Your brand is your occupational title, vis-a-vis accountant, lawyer, doctor. That is what you do. And now, looking for employment is really a sales and marketing opportunity, right? So your brand is your occupational title. The product that you're selling is you. Remember, so when you're writing out your resume, when you're writing on blogs, when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on Indeed, the first things that you want to remember is that you're talking about yourself and your accomplishments and the impacts that you have made at your employers. It is nice to slightly frame who your employer is, but the main product that the company is going to be buying is you. So you want to demonstrate within the pages that are allotted to you on your resume how you would be of value to that company, right? So the first thing that we always want to understand, and you're going to hear me say this throughout this presentation, is your brand. We're going to talk about your branding statement. And the most important thing is less is more. We want to be able to convey the most amount of information in very concise and specific words. As of 2020, LinkedIn is one of the largest professional networks in the world with about 675 million users in more than 200 countries. At the time of this printing, I'm sure it has grown since then. The average growth rate of LinkedIn is about 5,000 users per hour. So it's growing exponentially. It is the leading social media platform in the world for professionals. Make no mistake about it. What you want to do on LinkedIn is build your identity, that personal, professional brand. Once you've established that personal and professional brand, you want to utilize it to grow your networks, to stay in contact with people that you have worked with, existing colleagues, to seek out past colleagues that may be of assistance, but more importantly, to grow that network with individuals that can assist. So you want to stay within 3 to 20 degrees of what you do, and you want to expand that network by reaching out to individuals that are in the same marketplace or in support of the marketplace, or are in places of empowerment where they may be of value to you in searching for jobs, but more importantly, that you may be of value to them to bring on to their company. Knowledge is key. This is the largest publishing platform in the world. So one of the things that I would like you to consider is the following. Your resume should not be a mirror image on LinkedIn of your LinkedIn profile. Your resume is a historical document that should tell companies what you have done. Your LinkedIn, your social media, should allow you to expand the bandwidth of your experience. Take, for example, me. I'm a seasoned recruiter with 25 to 30 years of experience. It would be hard for me to fit all of the key points across my career on one document. We would like to keep the document to 1 page, 2 pages max if possible, and there are ways to do that. But LinkedIn is a place where you can expand. You can expand the bandwidth of your experience and demonstrate your expertise. I'm going to take my image off the screen because it's a little distracting for me. Just give me a second. Here we go. Information is key. What you want to do is you want to establish a two-tier strategy. The first is a push strategy when you're searching for employment. That push strategy will be all of the companies that you send your resume to as you actively seek out employment. In addition to that, you want to create what is called a pull strategy. That pull strategy is going to be your LinkedIn social media account where you can, A, publish information and articles across your bandwidth, but also establish yourself as a subject matter expert. In doing so, you're going to get greater exposure, and passively, job seekers and connections will seek you out based upon the information that you give. You're going to create a profile that's going to help you build your brand. You're going to want to stay competitive while building your brand. So let's talk about branding. It all starts with the following sequence of questions. Who are you? What do you do? What makes you unique? And why should the company hire you? This is a 30-second elevator pitch for most of you who are in the industry and know this, but what you need to do is you need to keep that going across your resume and across your LinkedIn profile. So you want to take personal inventory. What are your 3 greatest strengths? I asked previously a little bit about strengths because I wanted to gear you into the focus point of what it is that you do. Some of you are looking to make career transitions, and it is important that when making a career transition, you start to look at what skills you have that are transferable. You need to research the industry in your area, stay competitive, and build your brand. So let's talk about industry trends right now. The world has changed as we know it, right? We're no longer in a place where things are normal. The new paradigm is the new normal. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I was talking about the post-pandemic world. We're no longer in a post-pandemic world. We're back to an epidemic that is growing right now. So one of the things that we should be looking at as professionals as we take inventory is where are we in the process? Where are we going and what are companies looking for? Some of the things that you should consider is change management. No matter what field you're in, companies are going to be looking for individuals who can produce a narrative that takes control and takes charge of the current environment and looks forward at where we're going to go and how can we get there. That may necessarily be that you need to take some courses. It may be that you need to look at industry trends as they're moving forward, kind of get an idea of what technologies are available so you can be conversational. Take a look at whether or not companies are going to be able to survive using remote employment, and a lot of them will, but there's certain industries and areas that won't. But out of the ashes rises the phoenix. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you stay competitive and you build your brand. You want to design a robust professional description that reflects your work, experience, and qualifications. You want to update it regularly. You want to leverage your strengths, and you want to address your weaknesses. Everybody is human, so you need to be authentic. You need to look at where you're coming from and express where you're going to. One of the things that we often do is we have a lot of skills and experience, but we don't know how to package it. And no recruiter in the world is going to be able to help you find an opportunity if you don't know what you're looking for. If you have 30 years of experience and multiple things, you need to focus that experience. And LinkedIn is a great tool to research what marketplace you're looking for. One of the things that I would suggest to everybody is the first thing that you need to do is you need to kind of research on LinkedIn what professional jobs are available that my skills match. And you want to look at the frequency that they show up in the search engine. And then you want to start looking at the titles to help you establish your brand. You will find that over time, there's a commonality of skills that come up under certain topics. How do those fit my personal profile? How can I expand on that? And how can I choose that as a criteria for my brand? I would also then look at people that come up with that brand. So for instance, I would want to know whether or not I should be a contract consultant, or whether I should be an executive search recruiter, or whether I should be a human resources generalist. Once I put that into the search string, the research is how many jobs come up in each category? Who are companies currently looking for? And how can I tailor my background, my 25, 30-year background, to fit that opportunity? LinkedIn photos. My God, this is probably the single most important thing that you're going to do on LinkedIn. Your photo, a photo view is worth 21 more times viewership than one without. To be honest with you, on my LinkedIn, I very rarely accept anybody who doesn't have a photo. It's like going to Facebook without a face. The first thing that I do is I look to see who that individual is. And if you can look at the screenshot that we're looking at, the lighting is excellent. It's a very professional photo. There is a clear background, neutral, and the glance is directly in your eyes. Even though she's looking off a little bit tilted to the right or to the left, that's okay. The photo is also a headshot, shoulder up. It shouldn't be any lower than shoulder up. You can vary it just a little bit, but I'm going to ask you to just bear with me a little bit, because as we look at the next screen, we have 3 different headshots. I want you to take the time and look at the top. You're going to look at Alan Hom. Look at the description under his name. And look at Brendan Brown. Look at the description under his name. And then look at Nellie Peshkop. I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to let it sink in. So let's discuss Alan Hom. As we look at his headshot, he's got a great smile, a little bit too enthusiastic, I might think, but a clean background. Remember, when you're smiling, it's nice to be enthusiastic, but nobody wants to hire the Joker on Batman. Nobody's looking to hire a homicidal maniac. Next, we have Brendan Brown. Brendan Brown's picture, it looks pretty professional, doesn't it? Nice clean background, it's a headshot, he looks inviting. However, the only critique I would have is that it's a little bit dark. So if he lightened it up just a little bit, I think that would be an amazing shot, but as is, it's not bad. Okay, that leaves us to the elephant in the room, Nellie Peshkop. Take a look at that photo. First of all, there's all kinds of things going on in the background. There's trees, I don't know if that's a pool beyond the trees. There's all kinds of images in the back. In addition to that, it's not a headshot. It's a full half torso shot. And would anybody agree that that is not exactly corporate in terms of the dress? It looks like she's at an event, and that's great. It might be a very good picture. Maybe she likes the way that it looks, or it was a great dress, but not actually what we're looking for here. So now let's take a look. If we were looking in the search engine, like I mentioned, and we were doing research, who do you think would come up first in the ratings? If it's Alan, give me a thumbs up. If it's Brendan, give me a thumbs up. If it's Nellie, give me a thumbs up. How many people think it's Nellie? Excellent. And you would be right, because Nellie, if you look, she's Nellie Peshkop, Vice President of Talent Acquisition at Netflix, recruiter of stunning colleagues. Let's look at Alan. Alan is helping companies lock in talent, and Brendan is connecting talent with the right opportunity at a massive scale. Although those are catchy phrases, what does Alan do? He's locking in talent. Is he a talent agent? Is he a talent scout? Brendan is connecting talent with opportunity at a massive scale. Is he recruiting for sports outlets? Is he recruiting for shows? What does he do? The truth of the matter is, companies and recruiters alike, when they search for you in the search engine, they search for you by your occupational brand, whether that's an accountant, a vice president of talent acquisition, a human resources director, a project manager. Brendan and Alan left us no clue as to what they do. So keep in mind, Nellie is the vice president of talent acquisition. She would come up higher in the search strings. My only issue is she's a recruiter of stunning colleagues. I'm not sure whether she's recruiting corporately for Netflix or whether she's recruiting for Netflix actors and actresses. So be very careful about the information that you put forth. It is very important to be concise and exact with your information. Less may be more, but it should be concise. Craft a professional, compelling summary. Describe what motivates you. Tell us what you're skilled at. Tell us what's next. Move this over a minute. I want to stay on this page for a while, and I want to talk about Andrew Carjent. If you look at his summary, trying to reduce this thing. Give me a moment. There we go. I wanted to move the box. Andrew Carges, this is his summary on LinkedIn. In the final analysis, it's your team against their team. If you can recruit, if you can retain, if you can motivate the best people in the business, you will win. All other measures of success are secondary to that effect. Tom Seibel. His summary is as follows. I am an extremely passionate recruiter and business leader. I enjoy helping companies realize their vision and goals through the introductions that I facilitate of top-tier talent. I thrive in, build it, fix it environments. Throughout my career, I have found areas of focus within the talent acquisition function, organizational capabilities and people, efficient processes and governance, deep reporting and analytic capabilities engaging employment, branding, and marketing tactics with world-class systems and programs. I enjoy taking reactive and tactical staffing departments and building a high-functioning strategic and operationally sound function with HR. If you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. I have been fortunate to work at some of the best companies in the world with the best teams for some of the most respected leaders in technology. I love what I do. Lastly, my wife shares the joy of raising our 4 children. When I can find time, I enjoy cooking, track days, mountain biking or sailing, long walks on the beach. I'm a Sagittarius, blah, 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 blah. Some people go to successful companies and some people make companies successful. Which are you? The average reader spends about 6 to 10 seconds on your page as they scan through it. If it interests them, they keep going. If it doesn't, they move on. Remember my conversation earlier was less is more. So I'd like to unpack this for you in a different way. I would write it out as the following. I am an extremely passionate recruiter and business leader. I enjoy helping companies realize their visions and goals through the introductions that I facilitate of top-tier talent. I thrive in build it, fix it environments. In the final analysis, it's your team against their team. If you can recruit, if you can retain, if you can motivate the best people in the business, you will win. All other measures of success are secondary to that effect. Some people go to successful companies. Some people make companies more successful. Which are you? We just unpacked it and we've written it out in about maybe 4 to 5 sentences with a heavy impact. Please, when on LinkedIn and social professional media, leave out personal information about your family life, your hobbies, your joys, whether or not you're in a band. Those things are not important. Remember when we used to put on resumes, whether we were a black belt or whether we were a musician in a club? Those things are no longer, they're obsolete, they're redundant practices. You know, whereas you thought it may have done something to help you, but if I'm a hiring manager in this day and age, and I'm looking to hire people and there's high anxiety and I'm hiring somebody with a black belt, might that intimidate me just a little bit? Maybe not if you're you're applying for a security job, but just keep in mind, less is more. We want to use concise information that puts out our brand of who we are, a summary of who we are, what we do, what makes us unique, and we want to pepper it with a catchy headline, something that sticks in somebody's mind. Include videos and images, validate your experience with quality media. Profiles with media are 12 times more viewed than others. One picture speaks 1,000 words. So when talking about your experience on LinkedIn, use media, use pictures, use things that are copyright free, but that help demonstrate. Andrew works for GoDaddy. If you look at some of the images below, they're taken from GoDaddy. It will help describe your narrative. Here's another example. While sharing your experience, detail your work history and use social media. I want to go back for a moment. One of the things that you can utilize LinkedIn for is to make connections. The more connections you have, the more statements you make on your news feed will help you draw in more attention to your site. For instance, if you have 200 connections on your LinkedIn account, the more you talk on your news feed, the more information that you put, the more of your connections that you like. Every time you like or make a statement in LinkedIn, you're opened up to that person's network. So if they have 1,000 people, potentially you have the ability for 1,000 people to take a look at what you do. Social media is one of those tools where people literally stalk you, right? So basically what happens is every time you like somebody or make a comment, most people will look at their page in their conversation and they will click on their likes to see who it was. The first thing they're going to see is your name. They're going to see a little picture of you and they're going to click on your picture. Once they see your photo, they're going to read a little bit about you. So the less you have on there, and it's in more concise fashion, is the more that they're going to dig deeper. The harder and denser it is to read, they're going to spend less time and move on. Your picture, your profile picture is important. We're going to get back to that momentarily. For those of you making career transitions, here are a couple of statements that I find that might help frame the narrative. Don't be afraid to start over. It's a chance to build something better this time. And almost every successful person begins with two beliefs. The future can be better than the present, and I have the power to make it so. Detail your transferable work skills. Select accomplishments that clearly demonstrate the impact that you will make on the potential opportunity that you are applying for, so the reader can see how you will fit into this new role. It is incumbent upon us to create the narrative, and we're going to follow that formula. Who we are, what we do, what makes us unique, and why should that company hire us? Adding skills and endorsements are important, but there is no magic number that you need to obtain in order to show that you're skilled. It's not a race. It doesn't make a difference if you have 25 or 100. Because if you have 100 people, it's going to seem simply like overkill. You can get anybody to endorse you. But the truth of the matter is, on LinkedIn, having people endorse you for the skills that you're good at is a good indication to the employer that's looking at your background that you're not just a legend in your own mind, and that others think highly of you enough to endorse you. Pick skills that coincide with the careers that you're looking for. Remember that when you reach out for an endorsement, if you endorse your connections, they're going to feel that they would like to endorse you back. However, I like personal recommendations, and you don't have to have a lot of these, just a few of these, because a personal recommendation is really a live online reference vouching for you about what it is that you do and what you're good at, and they're willing to put their name on it. LinkedIn recommendations turn your profile from an online resume to a portfolio to a thought leadership platform. Request recommendations from previous supervisors and colleagues that align with your background and the positions that you're looking for. Include volunteer experience in both your resume as well as your LinkedIn. Volunteer experience is 41 times more viewed than other experience that is not pertaining to your particular field. Your volunteer experience is a good tool because it oftentimes helps to cover the gaps in your employment, because unemployment and volunteer experience doesn't necessarily walk hand in hand in terms of stopping at the same time. Most companies are looking when you have gaps of employment to make sure that you're still active, and it demonstrates that you have other beliefs that you go forward with. Back to building your brand. Join groups that are of interest to you, answer questions, and become an active participant. LinkedIn groups is a wonderful tool. If you're an accountant, join accounting groups, financial groups, join information from banks, join groups that are bank-oriented, join auditing groups. This way you're expanding your presence on LinkedIn, but more importantly, you're meeting other professionals who are movers and shakers in companies, because everybody on LinkedIn has a different agenda. People in LinkedIn are looking for jobs. They're looking to advertise their business. They're looking to market their business, and recruiters are constantly looking to find people to obtain employment. Most recruiters will join groups of interest in their area of specialization as a way to find professionals in a very concentrated place. Consider these tips. Your professional brand is key. Be authentic, personal, and consistent. Develop a distinctive profile headline. Be visible, share in groups, and build your network. Add to your knowledge and help others. The keys to brand success are self-definition, transparency, authenticity, and accountability. Stay competitive. I mentioned to you earlier about the current marketplace that we're in right now. This is a great time to pick up new skills, to pivot from old ones, and to fit the pieces of the puzzle to where we're going to next. One of the terms that you should constantly try to incorporate in whatever field that you're in right now is that you are a student of change management, and that you're also looking into how to take your current industry into the future and utilize the experience that you have and demonstrate on LinkedIn by article form, by conversations, by information that you have found within the groups. Post them. You don't have to create your own short form articles, although that would be nice. You can also simply post, copy and paste articles, conversations that you're interested in, and start the conversation. I would also make sure that you give credit to the author so that you're not plagiarizing any information, but find a place that you feel comfortable to talk about the things that you're passionate about. LinkedIn has many tools that you can use. LinkedIn Learning, LinkedIn SlideShare, and LinkedIn Salary Calculator are all great tools. In general, here are some rules that you should follow on LinkedIn. A headshot from shoulder up, smile. A smile is a reflex action, right? When you smile at people, most people will smile back. Believe it or not, that translates even onto static images. A clean and neutral background setting is good. You're 21 times more likely to make connections and get viewed if you have a picture up. Add your job title under your name and add a wow summary. We're looking for an attention-grabbing headline, something that will make them either smile, repeat, or think that that is clever. You want something to stand out against others in your same field. Identify key accomplishments that you have made along your career that would indicate that you're productive. Make your resume mirror, but not, make your resume mirror your LinkedIn, but personalize it as needed. Consider LinkedIn as an extension of what you do, a whiteboard that you can fill up, yet focus it on the things that would establish you as a subject matter expert in your field. Adding your education allows you to connect with classmates and alumni. Adding volunteer experience, as we said, is vital as a paying job. Please, I'm going to say this a couple of times, typos, no typos, no typos, no typos, no typos, no typos. It is the first thing that anyone sees about you. You only have one chance at a first impression. Personalize your invitation to somebody when you're reaching out to connect with them. More often than not, if you give somebody a good reason on why you're looking to connect, they're going to respond and like. LinkedIn is not treated like social media or Facebook. So let me say this. LinkedIn is used by employers to pre-screen you before they bring you on board for an interview. Conversely, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are used to disqualify you from opportunities. Remember that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all social media outlets. LinkedIn is for the professional. Everything on your LinkedIn account should gear and support your professionalism. However, when Facebook first came about, we utilized it just to socialize and catch up with old friends. So yes, there are birthday party pictures on, college pictures on there. There are different things that may or may not be exactly complementary to an employer. Your political views, your social views, your religious views, and even your choice of music. Companies use that, if you're not in line with their philosophies, to kind of weed people out. As far as the presentation, I'd like to thank you for your time with the presentation. On the screen, you will see LinkedIn Mobile. On LinkedIn Mobile, if you have the app, it's a great tool to take with you because you can brush up and also do research on the companies while you're sitting in the meetings. But there is a little tool on LinkedIn Photo and LinkedIn Mobile. In the search bar, it's got 4 little squares that look like a hamburger. If you click on that, it's going to come up with the QR code where you can scan the QR codes of others and pass your QR code to share information on LinkedIn and gain connections. I'm going to ask you if you just hold your questions as we're moving on time. I'd like to take you to the LinkedIn site and maybe it'll answer some more of your questions as we go through. Bear with me. Can everybody see the screen? Give me a thumbs up. Nikki, can you see the LinkedIn screen? Excellent. First, I'd like to start on this page where there's this ruggedly handsome bald guy. I'd like to show you my profile. As you will see, executive search professional, senior career consultant, and less is more. Seasoned executive search professional within the human resources arena, providing effective, rewarding results from sourcing and researching to career counseling in the digital economy, connecting the right talent to the right opportunity, one step at a time. Less is more. A little bit of details. Right now, since I'm not looking for an opportunity, I've simply detailed my current experience only. If I was looking to get more heavily involved in a search, I would give more information. But again, I really want them to just take a look at who I am, sort of like an appetizer, and want to see more. My resume will describe in detail what I do and who I am. And if you had a chance to really look into my newsfeed, you will find information that helps. On the top background picture, this is the Professional Placement Network. It is a 3-day workshop, moving to a 3-phase workshop of seasoned professionals that we teach here at the CareerSource. Most of the people who attend our PPN, Brian is one of those folks, usually C-suite professionals, people of professional ilk, whether they're corporate lawyers, professors of academia, etc. We help them transition, build into their brand, take inventory, go through assessments. We walk them through interviewing skills, resume building, and we support them throughout as we enable them to be able to search in this economy. Over to the right on LinkedIn, here is the hamburger. This hamburger is loaded with information. There are some tools here that you should not overlook. First of all, the salary tool. It's great for finding out information and you can drill it down to your county and your town. LinkedIn Learning is one of the most valuable tools that you can utilize. All of the speakers here are vetted. They go through a vigorous process and they have great information. So whether you're looking for training, very specifically regarding technology or processes, if you're looking for information on recruiting, data analytics, impromptu speaking, coaching skills for leaders and managers, executive coaching. I'm going to play for you a 2-minute developing resourcefulness, just to give you an idea.
The greatest compliment you can give a professional is to say that they're resourceful. They know how to find interesting solutions in the face of the benefits of things are very real. So why would this make them think it's wrong? That's many people know who they are. LinkedIn can make distinguish across professional networks. They're perceived as high value employees because they know how to get things done. They're seen as enemies. And they're known as people who find a way and do what it takes. And this is where we have to become like folks are thinking about when and how to wrap their heads, and by understanding how the resources and relationships can be leveraged to help you as well. When you're done, you'll have a much more clear picture of what it means to be resourceful and how to be more resourceful yourself. Start watching now.
Some of these courses are free and some have a cost to it. So I caution you that I would look through and make sure that I pick things that I am really interested in learning. You can get more of a snippet and soundbite on it if you go to YouTube and look up that particular individual that you're looking for to get a little bit more of an idea of who they are, what they do, and whether you'd be interested in pursuing some of these courses. Back to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most well-kept secrets when it comes to research tools, right? Most of us use social media, we're looking for jobs and we're onboarding and we're searching on Indeed, Monster, ZipRecruiter. When we search on these sites, do we really have anybody that we can contact and follow up with? Most of the time we see a job, we agree with the description, we apply for the job, and we get a job number. Is there anybody that you can follow up with? I'd like to demonstrate the power of LinkedIn. Fat fingers. I just typed into the search bar the Director of Human Resources in Palm Beach, Florida. As I scroll down, Senior Director of Human Resources, there are names, there are titles, there are companies. As I look on the bottom of the page, do you see how many people came up? There are over hundreds of pages of human resources directors in Palm Beach County. I show you this because when I apply on Indeed or Monster, I do not have any name to follow up with. I don't have anybody to send that information to. But if I see an opportunity for a project manager that I'm interested in at XYZ company, I can go to LinkedIn, look up who the human resources director of that particular company is, and I would have to fight my instincts. My first instinct would be to reach out and connect to that individual. That may get you a connection, but I'm sure hundreds of people are doing that. What I would suggest as an out of the box criteria for finding employment is I would call up XYZ company and I would tell them that I'm applying for an opportunity of project manager at Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and I wanted to send my resume to Deborah Laster of that company. She's the Human Resources Director, and I just wanted to get her email address. And most likely you will get it. She's in the public domain and it'll give you the email address. Will this work 100% of the time? No. 30% of the time? 40% of the time? Perhaps. It's an additional tool. If it works 30 or 40% of the time and you get an introduction into that company, is it worth the shot? I would think so. So now if Deborah Laster got my resume for the position that I applied for online, and I would have applied for it online, she's simply going to forward that resume to the recruiter who handles that opportunity. If I'm a recruiter sitting at Solid Waste Management and I get a forwarded resume of somebody for a position that I'm working from working on from my human resources director. Do you think I'm going to give that resume some attention? Yeah, I think so, right? And a week later, if I've heard nothing from the company and I want to do a follow-up and I write a letter, I send her a message on LinkedIn and say, hey, listen, Deborah, I just wanted to touch base with you. Wanted to know if there was anything that I could do to help expedite the process. She may or may not answer me again, but I guarantee you she's going to follow up with the recruiter she sent that resume, and somebody's going to give me a call. So this is just one of the ways that you can utilize LinkedIn. The same would be true as if I put into the search bar recruiters at companies in Palm Beach County, or I went directly to each company looking for the shakers and movers in that particular area. So if I was a financial consultant, I could very easily find out who the chief financial officer was. And there are ways to utilize LinkedIn as a great research tool. It's a great tool for looking up companies. So as I look up companies and I look at Target, I can see the Target has at least 149,000 employees on LinkedIn. And remember, not everybody at companies have a LinkedIn account. So that's a very large pool in which to pick from. If I look to the right, I can see positions that they have highlighted that they're looking for in their current hot jobs listing. Another bit of information that I get is I get their financial information. Their financial information is important to me because in today's job market, where companies are being affected by the current pandemic situation, I would like to know a little bit about the company. So in this particular case, I could look at the stock. The stock is still trading at $121.62. I could look up the 5-year analysis and see where the dips have been and where they're not. I can click on here and go directly to jobs and people. One of the things that I would suggest in operations as large as Target is a lot of these companies have employee referral programs. And most companies, when you apply to them, they look to see if you're connected to anybody on LinkedIn that might be in the company. So as a soft strategy, as you're using LinkedIn and you have an idea of the companies you'd like to target, it might be a good idea to go on LinkedIn, look for some individuals in the company and reach out and connect with them. You can write them a short note, just letting them know that you're a seasoned professional at whatever it is that you do, and you're looking for opportunities at Target, and just wanted to reach out and kind of get an idea of who you might talk to. If they accept your friend request, you're going to build connections over time, and then you have a way into the company, you know, that you may not ordinarily have. So that's just another feature that you can utilize. We talked about branding and finding your brand. I want to show you something. Here's Brendan Brown again. Brendan Brown connecting companies at a massive scale. He's a real person on LinkedIn. The truth of the matter is he is the Vice President of Global Talent Acquisition. That should have been in his title. Brendan actually works at LinkedIn, so he doesn't need to put it in his title. He's not looking for any jobs right now. Love his background. While I have LinkedIn up and running, this would be a good time if we have a couple of minutes to squeeze in any questions you may have.
Eustace, we do have a couple already in chat, but if anybody that's in here in the Zoom, if you guys do want to take yourself off mute to ask them, that is perfectly fine as well. The first couple that I have in chat is, do you need to have LinkedIn Premium to effectively search for a job?
The answer to that question is no. My account is free and we've done everything in this account right now for free. What I would say about LinkedIn Premium, if you're going to do a very concentrated search over a period of time and you feel that it would be of value to you, LinkedIn normally offers a month for free. I would select Premium. I would do an intensive search for the next 30 days. If you find it to be of great value to you, then I would continue with the paid option. And if not, I would revert back to free.
Perfect. I've got another one here. Can you make a career transition while trying to get back into the job market?
Yes. by utilizing those transferable skills that we talked about and fashioning your brand statement to meet the criteria of the position that you're trying to apply for.
Perfect. Actually, this next question is a pretty good one too, because I know that you mentioned some of the other social media platforms. The question is having a Facebook page that mirrors LinkedIn good or bad?
I would say that Facebook is doing a lot of work in trying to gain ground in the work to compete with LinkedIn. And so it might be a good idea. The only problem that I have with Facebook is that you're still connected to a lot of people that are social and not professional, and you don't have control on what they might post.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And I would add to that too, just, you know, with my personal background in staffing as well. I know we always looked up LinkedIn every single time we had a new candidate come through before we submitted them to any of our clients. We would use Facebook once in a while if honestly somebody looked questionable on LinkedIn, but we really didn't use Facebook as much because we know that's the personal site. So yeah, I think just to add to what you were saying, Eustace, I think it's just, we kind of know that that's, you know, people's kind of personal pages. So yeah, I think as long as LinkedIn is updated and has a good picture and whatever, that's probably a lot more important.
I would agree.
Let's see, can I post my great accomplishments on LinkedIn that occurred more than 10 years ago?
Absolutely. I wouldn't post it necessarily in my summary. I would make it part of a conversation that goes on my news feed or as a short form article. Because we want to demonstrate our expertise on LinkedIn. That's what we really want to do. We want to keep the narrative going.
Perfect. Got a couple more here. What is more important, the quantity of connections or the quality of connections within your field and people that actually can endorse your skill? That's a good question.
I would always go for quality first, but I would always try to grow my network because basically we still live in a world that's who you know and not necessarily what you know.
Exactly. I was going to say something along the same lines to say, because I think too is just that I think, yeah, I agree that the quality of the connections is more important, but I think definitely having a good amount of connections is good as well, because you have to think also is if say you're, I don't know, a network engineer, just to throw out an example, and you're friends with all other network engineers, you're all going to be looking for the same type of jobs, know the same people, and you're really not expanding your network because you can have somebody that does something completely different, not even in your field, but maybe knows somebody or they're connected to somebody that can get you a job. So I think, you know, sometimes too, just connecting with people that are outside your normal network is really smart too.
Absolutely. Think of it this,
I think
if you live in a 4-block neighborhood, is there any chance that you're going to meet more people than those 4 blocks? Maybe an occasional guest that comes in. But if you live in a larger neighborhood and you like to take long walks, is it possible that you'd meet more people that randomly may generate great friendships? You know, we've got to think outside of our normal box. That's why we joined LinkedIn. We joined LinkedIn so that we can become a part of the global community. And one of the benefits to that is companies in Switzerland, Ireland, Germany, China, they all have interests here in the United States, and they may have interests right here in Palm Beach County. There are quite a few people that have gone through the CareerSource that have obtained employment for foreign companies working from home right here in Palm Beach County.
agreed 100%. And actually, Charles put the 6 degrees of separation rule. So you're very right about that. Also, one other question here from Brian says, what's your thoughts on the open to work feature on LinkedIn?
I think that it's twofold. In some ways, it generates, well, it depends. Let me say this, it's on a case-by-case basis. Depending upon your ability to create a narrative on LinkedIn, and some people, Brian is one of them, know how to do that very well. They're constantly turning the cube and finding new ideas and demonstrating their expertise in a way that makes them a subject matter expert. So when I see somebody of that quality as an employer, as a recruiter, I would like to know how I can fit them into the organization or represent them to companies that I know, because I see them as a subject matter expert. But if you put that you're open to work and your profile is stagnant and you're not on there a lot of times, then it's doing you a disservice, because 3 months from now, you'll still be open to work, and there's not a lot that's changed from the few times that they have gone to look at your profile, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, Eustace, is kind of what you were saying about, and I think in the very beginning, you opened up by saying LinkedIn is one of those, you know, platforms with whatever you put in is what you get out. And so just remembering that that open to work is intended that if you're commenting on things and you're posting content and whatever it is, that gets seen and people see that. But if you just go in, create a LinkedIn account, you're not really putting any content, you don't update your page, and then you put open to work, that people aren't, it's not there for people to find you as much as it is for you to find people. And that's how they find you, is by you interacting and connecting. And then it just happens to get seen.
That's right.
I think you just putting that there isn't going to help so much.
So maybe some of you on LinkedIn have done the same thing that I have done. LinkedIn has been around for quite some time. And when I first opened up my LinkedIn account, I just opened up my LinkedIn account, put my name, I think I put a roughshod copy of my resume, and didn't revisit it for 2 years. And then, you know, LinkedIn started to change and job search started to change. And I realized that it was a great tool, and started reading up information in the industry and trending. And then I became an avid LinkedIn user. So one of the things I would say, just to support what you said, stagnation is not a good thing to utilize LinkedIn. And some of us, and quite a few people that I come across, have multiple accounts, right? They have that account from yesteryear and they couldn't remember how to get into it. And now they have a new account. And there are ways to actually combine both accounts. So that's something that they should look into as well.
Very good. And we, there's a couple last questions in here. I'm going to just call these out. We're actually just over time. So I just want to make sure to get these in. One question from Alina is, what's your opinion about following somebody that you do not know instead of directly connecting with them?
I think it's a great way to start. It's a great way to kind of gather information and kind of see the folks that they reach out and touch. I have quite a few of those people on my page as well that I follow, and they put out a lot of great content, and it keeps me abreast of what's going on in the field. So you don't need to necessarily connect with everybody right away. Maybe following is a good first date.
Yeah, and also just remembering that, you know, I think what you were saying is great, that you're following them, you're getting content, like you're educating yourself by doing that and knowing who's in, you know, that network. But also, is if you're following them, make sure that if there is something that touches you in some way, that you comment on those pages, because they'll still see that, and you can still technically connect with them, and they're seeing your comments. You can comment back and forth to each other without actually being connected, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And I would just like to double down on that a little bit more. Remember, every time that you comment and every time that you like their information, not only are they seeing you, but so are all of their followers. Everybody who comes to that page and is looking on the newsfeed, you're now being exposed to them as well. And who knows, that could be your next job opportunity.
Exactly. And got one more here. Is there a way to search and find, for example, European companies that are looking for employees within the States?
Yes, but I would say that twofold. There is a way to go on LinkedIn International. Each country has their own, and I'm not going to tell you that I know how to do that because I haven't actually looked, but I know people who have. But there are a lot of companies on LinkedIn that are international, so you can put it in the search string looking for remote work. If you have an idea of companies by name, you can search them out by name, etc. Brian, have you had any experience with any luck with that at all?
Yeah, Eustace, you know, in the insurance world, there's a lot of international, I mean, especially in reinsurance in Europe and other areas. And most of the time it's just through their website. I mean,
but you have to know the names of the company, right?
Right. And a lot of it ties back to their job postings. And you can do this on LinkedIn. If you go to the company and you look at their jobs, it'll tell you like if there's jobs in another country or not.
Thank you.
All right. And I was going to just comment here also that there was a couple questions about resumes. We actually did a workshop specifically on resumes. I'll make sure that after this, I will send an email out like a follow-up to everybody so you guys can find that. It's actually on our YouTube page. We have a whole playlist. I think it's titled Tech Talent, with all of our career workshops that have been in the series. And there's actually a really good one from Boca Code, one of our coding schools, that they do some career development stuff as well. That was really good on resume writing. But we are just over time, so I just want to be cognizant of that. I know that there's probably people that have more questions. Eustace, if you do want to send me just some information for a follow-up that I can get out to everybody, or if there's a way for them to contact you, I would be happy to do that.
I will send you my contact information as well as a summary.
Perfect. And thank you everybody for today. Again, the virtual Career Expo is still open till 8 p.m. And if anybody needs help, my email address is just Nikki. It's Nikki at palmbeachtech.org. Again, it's Nikki at palmbeachtech.org. Thanks so much, guys.